We're back at our overlockers, and today we're going to talk about joining two pieces of fabric together using just our overlocker. This is some athletic knit. It's nice and stretchy. I'm going to make some tights out of it. And what I want to do first is make sure that my seam is going to be strong enough. So I'm going to place it right sides together just like I would as normal. And I'm only going to cut off a fraction. So my seam allowance is 1 centimeter. My stitch width of my final overlocking is 6 mil, so I will actually want to cut off 4 mil to take off my correct amount of seam allowance. So I'm going to make sure that a little bit pokes over past the blade, and so I'm going to count from the blade outwards. Okay, get started. Just going to feed it through. Nice long tails of thread so I don't run the risk of unthreading my machine and trim. Nice finished seam on the underside, no looping, no extra threads poking out in any way. And on the upper side it sits flat, and I have the extra safety stitch in here, which is the 4th thread of my overlocker, and having that 4th thread is very important when you want to use your machine just to sew and finish the one time without also using a regular straight stitch machine. So it all looks good from this side. What I want to do is open up the seam. When I open up the seam, I want to make sure that the seam sits flat, looks nice, and when I stretch it, it doesn't pop, and when I stretch against it, I'll try and see if I can get it in, it doesn't get what we refer to as grin through. So here you can see where the seam is, but you cannot see the color of the stitching in any way, which means our overlocker is set at the correct tension, because nothing's popping, nothing's showing through, everything looks neat and smooth and flat, which is our ideal of what we want when we're sewing on a knit fabric, which is then going to be stretched. If your machine doesn't get to that, go back to your manual and keep trying your settings until you can get it correct. Okay, that's all for today on overlockers. We'll be back another time with a different hint and tip.